On September 10, 2001, a day before the world changed forever, a chilling announcement emerged from the Pentagon. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld declared that a staggering $2.3 trillion could not be accounted for within the Department of Defense's budget. This revelation, shocking in its magnitude, pointed to a black hole in the very heart of American military spending. The next day, the Twin Towers fell, and the Pentagon itself became a target. The news of the missing trillions was quickly eclipsed by the devastating attacks. The nation plunged into mourning and outrage, demanding answers and retribution. The Bush administration wasted no time in pointing fingers. Within days, Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda were identified as the perpetrators, with claims of irrefutable evidence linking them to the attacks. The missing trillions faded into the background, a strange and unsettling footnote in the face of unimaginable tragedy. Was this financial anomaly merely an unfortunate coincidence? Or did it hint at deeper, more unsettling truths? The sheer scale of the missing funds was staggering, dwarfing any previous accounting errors. The unanswered questions lingered, a nagging reminder that even in the darkest of times, transparency and accountability should never be sacrificed. The attacks on 9/11 triggered a seismic shift in the global landscape. The United States, invoking the language of self-defense, launched the War on Terror, a sprawling campaign with far-reaching consequences. Afghanistan, identified as the sanctuary of al-Qaeda, was invaded within weeks. The Taliban regime, accused of harboring bin Laden, was swiftly overthrown. The Bush administration, propelled by a wave of public support and fueled by a potent blend of patriotism and fear, pushed for a rapid expansion of executive power. The Patriot Act, passed with unprecedented speed, granted sweeping surveillance authority to intelligence agencies. The lines between domestic and foreign threats blurred, and the very fabric of civil liberties came under increasing strain. The pursuit of al-Qaeda and its elusive leader became intertwined with another, more controversial objective: the disarmament of Iraq. The Bush administration, citing intelligence reports, asserted that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction and posed an imminent threat to the United States. These claims, later proven false, served as the primary justification for the 2003 invasion of Iraq, a decision that would have profound and destabilizing consequences for the entire region. The chaos and confusion that followed the 9/11 attacks provided fertile ground for misinformation and manipulation. The Bush administration, eager to rally public support for its military interventions, presented a narrative that was often simplistic and, at times, demonstrably false. The alleged links between al-Qaeda and Iraq were never substantiated, and the promised weapons of mass destruction were never found. The mainstream media, often uncritically echoing the government's line, played a crucial role in shaping public opinion. Dissent was marginalized, and those who dared to question the official narrative were branded as unpatriotic or even treasonous. The fog of war, thick with smoke and mirrors, obscured the truth, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. The rapid identification of the perpetrators and the swiftness with which military action was taken raised eyebrows among some observers. Could such a complex investigation involving multiple countries and a vast network of suspects truly be concluded in a matter of days? The lack of transparency surrounding the investigation fueled suspicions that the Bush administration had already settled on a narrative before all the facts were known. As the dust settled on ground zero and the initial shock gave way to a grim determination to rebuild, questions began to surface. The official account of the collapse of the Twin Towers, attributing their destruction solely to the impact of the planes and the ensuing fires, was challenged by some architects and engineers. They pointed to the unusual speed and symmetry of the collapses, suggesting that controlled demolitions might have played a role. The Pentagon attack, too, was not without its anomalies. The official explanation that American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the building, causing a massive explosion and fire, did not fully account for the observed damage. Some witnesses claimed to have seen a missile strike the Pentagon, and the limited footage released by the government did little to dispel these doubts. The official 9/11's Commission report, while comprehensive in scope, failed to address many of the lingering questions and inconsistencies. Critics argued that the commission was too quick to accept the government's version of events and did not adequately investigate alternative explanations. The report, rather than putting the controversy to rest, only served to fuel further speculation and distrust. The events of 9/11 exposed not only the vulnerability of American society, but also the fragility of trust in institutions. The Bush administration's handling of the attacks, marked by secrecy, misinformation, and a rush to war, left many citizens feeling betrayed and disillusioned. The unanswered questions surrounding the attacks, the missing trillions, and the subsequent invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq continue to cast a long shadow over American politics. The legacy of 9/11 is a complex and contested one. It is a story of immense loss, courage, and resilience, but also of political opportunism, manipulation, and the erosion of civil liberties. The search for truth and accountability remains elusive, a reminder that the wounds of that day run deep and that the quest for justice is far from over. The 9/11 attacks were a tragedy of epic proportions, a watershed moment that irrevocably altered the course of history. But amidst the grief and the anger, it is essential to remember that questioning the official narrative is not unpatriotic. It is the lifeblood of a healthy democracy. Only by demanding transparency, accountability, and a relentless pursuit of truth can we hope to prevent such tragedies from happening again.